Oh no.
Are you okay?
Hi, Merry Christmas! Hello and welcome to the Qing Fibre Christmas Eve cast on video. Today or this evening we're going to be casting on our Christmas Eve socks, which is a beautiful pattern designed by Ambrose of Ambrose Designs. My name is Kat or Catherine and I have been knitting for I guess about 14 months now. I started with Qing Fibre about a year ago. I've been quite a prolific knitter since I taught myself back last year. I was a crocheter before, but as soon as I picked up knitting, I was addicted, if I'm honest.
I'm Becky. I started knitting probably about 3 months ago now. 3 months? Something like that. I started working with Qing Fibre about 2 months ago. It was actually this one that was like, you need to knit! Basically, I was a crocheter before and yeah, now I guess I'm kind of converted. But I still do crochet here and there, but yeah, mostly knit now.
You're a knitter with a capital K.
Yeah, it's great. I love it, it's really good.
I'm Georgia and I've been knitting for about a year as well. I've been at Qing Fibre for a year and maybe 3/4 now. A long time. I was a crocheter as well beforehand, which seems to be a bit of a theme going on here. I think maybe a lot of people crocheted before they started knitting.
I found it 2 needles to be really confusing to begin with, so the transition from 1 to 2 was easier than 2.
Yeah, I just heard that crochet was quicker and wanting that instant gratification, I just went straight for the crochet, and then when you see things knitted, you're like, oh, it looks slightly more refined. Not that I don't love crochet, don't get me wrong, but I love both of them, but just think I really enjoy knitting these days.
So I've been a little bit busy, like a little elf, and decided I was going to make you guys just something small. It's kind of for this Christmas cast.
Thank
so.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
If you know me, I've got a real aversion to ripping things. I don't know why.
I really hope we're at the right
I
one
normally
for
do
the
as
right
well,
person
but
now.
it feels like it's taking ages.
Oh, what is that? It's a little tiny soccer bag.
That's so cute.
Oh my goodness! George, you're going to have to get up and come closer to the camera too. Look at these! And they're so cute.
Merry Christmas Eve.
Merry Christmas. Thank you. Would you guys like some yarn to put in your project bags?
Yes, please. Would we ever say no?
Definitely not.
Thank pass that one over, and I've got one that I caked earlier.
So gorgeous.
It is really
Such a
lovely.
pretty colour.
So
Really
this
wintry.
is Humbug, which is exclusive to the Christmas cast on kit. And the dyes were very much inspired by the cold weather. So as you can see, it's filled with wintry tones and cool blues, and even some light greys. If you haven't already caked your yarn, you might want to grab your Swift and cake it up now. We're going to go and do the same because otherwise me and Becky cannot cast on, which would be very sad.
It might be good for me though, give me a head start.
Becky is quite a quick knitter considering how long she's
Definitely
been
not.
knitting. And
You are.
I can be quite quick when I find my rhythm.
You're like a machine, Kat.
Yeah.
Not quite.
Let's not downplay it.
I'm going to pop straight in my little bag without the cheeky bit of chocolate.
What's Christmas without chocolate?
I don't know.
It's illegal. It should be illegal. Definitely.
So Georgia and Becky haven't seen the pattern yet. This will be the first time you've set your eyes up on it, which is quite exciting. The pattern 2 is called Humbug, and when Amber received the yarn, she had a feeling of an idea that she had already wanted to do something to do with a Christmas Carol, but the colourway she felt was inspired by the cobblestones in A Christmas Carol, which when we now look at it, we completely understand that. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, definitely
Yeah,
makes sense.
maybe snowy cobblestones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very, very textured pattern. The idea behind it was that it would represent the bed socks that Scrooge wears when he goes on his walk through the journey of the past, the future and the present.
Oh, that sounds
Really,
exciting.
So,
That's really lovely. It's
Yeah.
a really good idea.
so to start with, have you knitted socks before?
No, this is my first time knitting socks. I'm actually quite nervous.
Don't be nervous, they are slightly smaller than what you would be used to, especially as Georgia has been knitting up lots of chunky jumpers, which are amazing.
But very quick.
Yeah. And Becky has been making 1,000,001 of these dreaming slow hats. So again, this will be slightly different for you. I use 2.25mm needles for my socks, which is actually fairly common and standard, even though I'm generally quite a loose knitter. I would too recommend either 2.25 or 2.5 if you're a tighter knitter, maybe.
Okay, I'm quite a tight knitter, so I think I'll go 2.5.
Yeah, I think I'll probably go the same because mine always ends up bigger than yours.
So we have 3 sizes in the sock. The first is the small size, which uses 56 stitches. The medium size is 64 stitches, which is what I will probably be casting on, and the large is 72. So they're going to be for you too.
Does it in the pattern? Does it say how long each sock will be?
You can make the length to whichever size you want.
Oh, okay. So it's just like
It's
the
to
width
do with
of
the
your
circumference.
Okay.
So from memory, I think it's 18, 20 and 22 for the circumference, but if you've got the pattern there, you'll be able to read that and double check yourself, which is very simple to get a tape measure out and measure around where the cuff will sit.
Okay, so we should do that first before we decide what we're doing. Okay, I actually did bring a tape measure with me.
Wow.
I know. I
There
was
you
quite
go.
prepared.
No idea what mine is. What are you?
22. So if I did 20,
Yeah,
and
I'd go
then
middle
stretch
size.
it.
Go middle size, do you think?
Yeah.
Do I have
So
cankles?
So I think we're all going to go for magic loop method. So we all have 2 needles and a cable.
George is just changing out.
I just
Very big
changed it with
ones.
my huge needles.
You could also use small circulars, so a very small circumference needle, and just knit very quickly in the round. Or you could use DPNs, all of which are great. Hannah, who used to work with us, was a DPN demon,
Oh,
wasn't
she loved them, yeah.
She was amazing, and I was just a very nervous new knitter, so I liked the idea of all my stitches being kept on a cable.
It looks terrifying.
Yeah,
I
it
just
looks like
couldn't-
anything
yeah.
could fall off at any moment.
Or stab me.
If you like knitting in peril, they're for you. Well, that's what I think.
So hats off to you if you can actually knit with DPNs.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to go with this method. And I have a confession. Shh. No time. I already tried the sock pattern, so I do know what the stock looks like. I was test knitting it for Amber. So I do already have one going, and usually I would knit 2 socks at a time, so I'm going to play catch up and try and get my first sock to the second sock and then continue that method. But as it's your first socks, I would recommend 1 sock at a time.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I'm gonna use a huge cable still, just because I find magic loops so much easier on that absolutely enormous cable.
That is
But-
that is a good sized cable.
To be fair, I think I've got about the same.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. So you've chosen your sizes.
I think I'm just going to do the medium.
Yeah, I think so too. It'll be a bit stretchy, so we need to cast on 64 stitches, and we'll use the German twisted cast on, which is also known as the Old Norwegian cast on, which just so happens to be my favourite cast on.
And mine.
Yeah, mine too.
I don't leave the yarn tail long enough. I do it all the time. I cast on, I get halfway in, and then I'm like, oh no.
I find the opposite. I find my tail is always absolutely enormous. And I'm like, well,
I go from one extreme to the other, though. I do it so it's not long enough, and then I'm like, right, I need to make it long, and then it's enormous.
could you
I have
remind
an
me again
enormous
how
tail.
many? 64.
64.
64.
Are you measuring?
Yeah.
Yeah. How did you do that?
If you wrap it around your needle 10 times, that's like 10 stitches.
Oh,
and
and
then
then
just
you.
times it by.
Oh, that's a great idea. Why did I never done that before? And I just hope, guess. And swatching's always good. It's a bit difficult with the sock. You almost have to just cast on and either recast on if it's the wrong size or gift it. Personally, I've not had that issue yet. But
What, the wrong size?
yeah, I have embarrassingly Kitchener stitched socks off wrong though. Instead of doing it horizontally across the front of the toe, I've gone down vertically.
Up the socks. That'd be great for Christmas then.
Which is probably one of the downsides on using this over a DPO method, maybe. Having to pay more attention to that at the end. But the last pair of socks I did do toe up for that reason.
Yeah, I think I've only ever done top, and that's with crochet. I mean, I've never knitted socks before. Yeah.
Yeah, I've knitted about 3/4 of a sock. Very, very simple sock.
Yeah, you did a DK weight sock, didn't you? Was it DK?
I think it was 4-ply.
4-ply.
But yeah, it was quite a big 4-ply, so I went up quite a bit with the needle size. But where do we get to? Just past the heel, and then it's just kind of rested there, waiting to be finished.
So Amber's, I'll count these again after I've said about her, but she is from America, but I get the impression she's got quite a fascination with English culture, but predominantly English literature. So she's often coming up with patterns inspired by Miss Marple or Jane Austen.
That's really cool.
Which makes A Christmas Carol make sense.
Yeah.
Did you watch A Christmas Carol growing up?
Which one? The Muppets?
Yeah. Okay. I think that's everyone's favourite though. Though I do really like, there's a new one called The Man Who Invented Christmas.
Oh, I meant to
haven't
watch
seen
that.
It's on Netflix. Hopefully it'll still be on there, but it's lovely. And it is about the journey he had writing it, and
Oh, that sounds
it's,
good.
yeah,
I love Christmas
perfect one
movies.
to knit to too, actually.
What's your favourite Christmas movie apart from this
I like Elf is a good one.
one? Wow, that is a good one.
What other ones are? Well, we know what Cats is because she was outraged that Georgia and I haven't watched it. So,
What one was that?
oh, she's
Did-
counting.
Oh, sorry.
52, 56, 58, 60, 62, 64, and I'm cast on. The Holiday Inn and White Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
That was it.
Both lovely films, and the inspiration behind the jumper that I'm wearing. Also, there's a film called The Ref, which doesn't sound very festive, but it is very, very funny. I do love Christmas films. Love Actually, looks so pretty.
Oh, The Holiday with Jude Law.
Oh,
The
The
Holiday's
Holiday.
good,
I
yeah.
like a bit of Jude Law.
Yeah, I like it too.
Yeah.
Oh, I've just lost one.
Jude!
And-
Oh, Jude! Oh, Jude! It's not Hey Jude, it's Old Jude.
Does anyone else need a stitch marker?
I will do.
I've got mine.
I didn't put mine to
Especially
hand.
Oh, actually, I have one in my bag. Oh, you need to watch Les Mis though. feel like he's the policeman, not the policeman.
In my little Robin Notions pouch, I will give you a festive red one. And these are stitch markers that, if you were lucky enough to get our advent calendar or a club from us, are made by hand by Hannah. They are tiny, tiny, tiny little leather ones.
Right, so once we've joined in the round, what's the... I'm assuming we're doing a rib pattern.
Yeah, the rib pattern is knit 2, purl 2 for the cuff.
Okay.
And it is for 30 rounds.
Okay.
So it's quite a few rounds of it.
I have done it, haven't I? All the way along there.
It's fine.
I started knitting with the end. The wrong end.
That happens, especially when you've got a long tail. All you need to do is start knitting with this, but leave a tail
And then
again.
cut it and then weave it in.
Weave it in.
Oh, I'm such a muppet.
No, it's fine. I actually did it on a sample
I've done it many
not
times.
very long ago.
Oh, nice.
But that's an easy fix.
Yeah.
It's a very easy fix.
What's the hardest thing you've had to fix?
Hardest thing? I steeked last night,
Oh yeah.
and I steeked in the dark.
Well, that's not really fixing, that's just...
Well, the steek wasn't very secure, so I had to do a little bit of clever jigging to reattach the crocheted to the stitches that were coming loose.
Oh my goodness.
All's good. You would never know now, I don't think.
What were you stinking?
Cardigan?
Oh, yeah.
What about you?
My worst thing. Well, this is my problem, is if I see a mistake, I tend to just pretend I haven't seen it. Hope for the best. But I have got better recently at like making sure I go back and change things. But
I do think it depends on what it is.
yeah, and how far past the point
Of no return.
Yeah, exactly.
It's nice when things look, you have a little ism in it that makes it look handmade or handcrafted, whereas
Yeah.
some mistakes.
But then also it's nice when you go back and fix it and think, oh,
Now it's perfect.
yeah, exactly. I'm so glad I went back and did that.
Oh,
What was the first thing you ever knitted?
Mine was the Petite Knits Novice jumper.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, my sunflower maze one and smoke colourway. Yeah.
Yeah, you're a colour wizard.
I mean, I'm still knitting the first thing I started knitting.
You've got so many projects on there.
Yeah, I know. I went a bit project happy and just cast on.
Yeah, you did suffer with castonitis, didn't you?
Yeah, a little bit. Just a touch.
It's good though.
Yeah, so I started, what did I do? Oh, the turtle dove.
Yeah. By Spastrico,
Yeah.
which
It's a
is
free one on Lavery and it's a really good pattern.
yeah, it's a really actually both of those are quite as the novice try to suggest.
Yeah.
First knits, aren't they?
Yeah.
I did change it a bit though. I made it a lot shorter and I didn't do as many increases.
I mean, that is the beauty of making your own
Yeah.
clothing, so you can completely do it how you want.
Yeah.
I think the first thing I ever knitted was a pair of mittens. Colourwork mittens.
It's quite impressive, Cat.
In at the deep end. Like you say, sometimes it's better that way because then
You just get on with it.
yeah.
Yeah, there was a Latvian braid too, which, bless my little sister actually laid claim to them. And I was like, you can't have those, the Latvian braid's awful. And she had no idea what I was going on about, obviously. But one of the braids is not at all. It looks like a plait when it's knitted. It's lovely. But one of them just kind of looked like, oh, here's just a mix of colours.
Random bit of yarn.
Yeah. Whereas the second one looks really quite beautiful.
I bet when you were doing the Latvian braids on the Texture Time MCAL, you were all over that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, which I'm hoping to get done a bit more this Christmas.
It's cool.
It's a really, really fun pattern to work on actually. quite meditative, but also enough to hold your interest if you've got a lot of time to focus.
Yeah, and that's another one of my projects that I've cast on and still needs to be finished.
I did see a woman that had knitted, you know, the first panel,
Yeah.
and she turned it into a top because she wasn't committed to finishing the rest.
Oh, that's a good idea.
So
I saw someone who turned theirs into a cardigan by sewing like the long flat bits together.
oh wow,
Yeah, that looked really
That's
good
quite
actually.
cool.
Yeah.
it's coming along. How are you getting on?
Yeah, it's a bit fiddly with the magic loop with the cable. But I think once it gets further away from the needle, it'll be better. It's just,
I'm looking
I think
forward
cast
to
on a bit tight.
I do quite like the Addy Wonder socks. I haven't got any spare because my partner is actually knitting some socks for Christmas. But it's got one shorter needle and one longer needle on the right hand side.
Oh yeah.
I saw that.
And a small circumference, so you can just kind of
run.
Yeah.
I saw Knitpro actually releasing some new shorter needles for smaller projects as well. I'm tempted to put them on my. Well, I'm hoping maybe my stocking might have them in tomorrow.
That's exciting. That's very exciting.
You told a certain someone that you might like them.
They should just know, surely.
Of course. Santa knows everything.
Yeah,
Exactly.
you can transfer that straight onto them.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
What about you?
I mean, as we heard earlier, I'm really bad at finishing things, so
You've just not had that much time to knit.
I mean, I've got quite a few things work in progress, but I think the only thing I've actually finished is probably this hat that I've got on my head, which is
Lovely.
so, which is Mouse Baby Celery and Marina Decay. No, Super Soft Marina Decay. Yeah. And it's awesome. It's really warm and fluffy, and I love it.
Anyway, I really like my Storm-Made version.
Did you do that with cereal? With
Oh no, I did mine with mohair as
You
well.
did yours with
Yeah,
mohair.
yeah.
We should have all been wearing our dream slow hats.
I want to say, I finished my first stock, so I'm on to my second.
don't mind them.
We've got our little friend here now. haven't we?
Little, she's huge.
Do you want to do some knitting?
Yeah.
Oh, she does.
You are beautiful.
You're helping. You're helping. I know. It's all very exciting, this Christmas lark, isn't it? You wait till you see Christmas dinner. What New Year's cast-on plans have you got?
I want us to do the peplum tops that I was talking about. Was it a Nordic knitting tale or
Oh yeah.
a Nordic knits? Because we bought that gorgeous stuff at the knitting and stitching show. The alpaca, yeah.
Oh, that'll
Oh,
be
did
lovely.
you buy some of that?
Yeah. So, and also I was thinking of doing a ranunculus out of that other yarn that we bought at another yarn show in Oslo.
That was gorgeous. The mohair lambswool.
Yeah, I'll have to look up the shop name properly and then insert it quickly on the
Yeah.
screen.
Pop it in the description box below.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's my, there's my two that are on my list. And then also the Sunday cardigan, which you've just done in the mohair.
Yeah, that was very, very luxurious and quite quick. Really quite quick.
4 days, if that, was it?
Okay.
Yeah.
That
That
was.
would be like 3 weeks for me.
Yeah, for a normal person.
We were at a knitting event. You've got to do some knitting at a knitting event.
It's true.
It was really fun. Actually, you can see that being shown in our little vlog we did about the
Yeah.
knitting and stitching show.
Oh, come back.
I think I'm going to cast on something else in that alpaca yarn because I did cast on for a soiree. But I'm not convinced that it's the right gauge for the yarn, so I might risk it and go a little bit longer on it and see what happens. But
Okay.
if not, I might be in the market for a new pattern for it. What else? We've got a test knit coming up, which is quite exciting. But other than that, the world is my lobster, as I said.
Are you okay there,
What about you?
I could just see you on there, like.
You're alright.
Trying to keep you cool.
It's okay. Doesn't matter if the tail's really long, that's fine.
Just do something.
Just don't knit with it.
She started knitting with the tail.
Oh. So yeah, Becky, what are you going to be knitting in the new year?
Oh, I don't know, to be honest, I'm not really sure. Maybe we spoke about me doing the novice sweater, the one that you did as one of your first knits, just because I love the jumper.
It's
And
great.
it's quite easy, and I go in and out of London a lot on the train. It's something that's not too thinky for the train, so
Yeah.
maybe one of those. We've got some really lovely Qing Fibre mohair that I'd really like to use, so
Yeah, that'd be good.
hold it with something else. Yeah, but otherwise I've got no plans really.
I mean, other than to finish your
Oh, everything
20
else.
projects that you have going.
Definitely. So yeah, well, I'm hoping to get the turtle dove finished in the next few days.
If there's any patterns that you can recommend, we'd definitely be happy to listen. See what your knits for the new year are going to be. Knits for the new year. You can share that in the chat box or post it in a comment. We always like to be given new designers to have a look at. Have you discovered anyone recently you're interested in?
I've forgotten the name. You'll know who I'm talking about though, because she's done. Is it the So Faded jumper?
Andrea
Um,
Merrill?
Yeah,
Dre Renee Knits?
maybe. She's done a really nice colourwork cardigan. I can't remember. I'll have to look it up.
The throwback.
Maybe.
Like,
Yeah, I think it's that. Yeah, no,
The throwback is a lovely cardigan.
you're like a little encyclopedia in there. Ravelry encyclopedia.
No.
Yeah, no, it might be her. Actually, most of her stuff is quite nice. So I'd like to do some colour work in the new year because I haven't really done any yet. I've done mostly very simple stuff or texture. So
Quite enjoy.
Yeah, you like colour work, don't you?
I've been more
It's a
drawn
bit
to
terrifying.
textures lately. But it's not scary at all. It's exactly the same, but you've got two different
7 yards.
ones. Most of them do. Most patterns are designed with that in mind. So you only have 2 colours at a time. I think I've only ever done one pattern that had about 4 rows of 3 colours. And I think I have to admit that I did the first 3 rows, and then on the last row I just changed it. But it doesn't actually take all that much longer, really, because you can have, because we're all continental kniters, aren't we?
Yeah.
So we all hold the yarn in our left hand.
Oh, you
Oh
not?
yeah, you're a thrower still.
I keep promising that I'm gonna do it with the other hand, but I just haven't.
It's
Because
really-
obviously it's much slower when you're learning to do it in the other hand, and I'm not a very patient person.
I don't know though, because I picked it up
She
really
says
quick.
casting on again.
I picked it up really fast though because I only kind of knew how to knit the other way, the English way, and then it feels really strange for the first 10 rows, but then after like 10, 15 rows you're like, whoa, this is awesome.
Yeah.
And yeah, it goes really fast. It's crazy.
And if you really enjoy it this way, you can get, I can't remember what it's called like a Norwegian helper.
I've seen those.
So you can put the 2
The
colours in
yarns,
it and
yeah.
just pick it. But I do both hands. But you have to be careful with colour dominance and those sort of things when you're doing it that way.
I think the pattern that's made me most want to try colour work is the Ember sweater.
Oh yeah, it's a lovely pattern.
Yeah, it looks.
Yeah, I've seen that.
It's quite rustic looking from the samples that the designer has done, and it does look quite complicated for someone who hasn't done colour work before. But
I think the colour work itself is fairly straightforward. It combines colour work and texture.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Trying to think colour work wise. I mean, I've got the Strange Brew books by Tin Can Knits.
Oh, that's a really good book.
Yeah, and there's quite a few patterns in there that are kind of calling my name. And I think Ellie from, or who is Game Day Knits, has just released last month a colour work jumper that I've got my eye on, just because it's got quite an interesting construction. I think it uses steeks again, which I seem to have gone a bit steek crazy.
I'm not ready for that yet.
No.
It's lovely. It's got colour work yoke and then drop sleeve shoulders. It's quite boxy.
That sounds good.
Yeah, I think it's knitted in quite a lightweight rustic wool too, which is quite nice at this time of year when it's really cold, but you're in the house or commuting like we all do. You want something that you can throw in your bag without weighing yourself down. Amber is amazing. Do have a little look at her other patterns. She actually, I think she's released both the Miss Marple and the Jane Austen. Don't hold me to this, but as a collection, so you can purchase the whole lot.
Yeah, I think she has. I think I saw that on her Instagram the other day.
Yeah, they're lovely. I've now got in a tangle too. My tail's tied around itself. Yeah, I think I've knitted 3 pairs of her socks. And I do have a pattern called Poison Pen socks, that she sent me as a thank you. I'm really excited to do them because I think they've got a faux cable and I've kind of got a thing for that at the moment.
Oh, Dank Fibre's releasing that shawl that's got thick
Oh.
cables on it as well, which they did in our Blue Finch colour.
Oh yeah, that's gorgeous.
Yeah, that is really nice.
If you could see the lovely helper Rachel, who's helping to film this, and her giggling, she's doing an amazing job. I'm not laughing too loudly. But we do really appreciate Rachel's help keeping us in check. I think that's one of the things about knitting. You do have to have different projects for different situations.
Yeah, definitely.
And people that don't knit completely don't understand. Like, quick, I need to swap. I can't be knitting on this jumper right now. I need to be doing a hat. Like, what are you doing? And why have you got 6 different projects with you? Because you never know.
Exactly.
I went to Amsterdam for 3 days, and I think I took 4 projects with me. What?
How many of them did you finish? All of them.
One and a half.
Oh my goodness.
I finished a mitten that had been languishing since last January, and then I knitted my sister a Christmas jumper, which I'm very excited to gift to her tomorrow.
She's gonna love it.
Very excited.
I feel like if you give someone a handmade present, they can never complain. Although saying that, I was saying like my first sock that I crocheted was for my mum for Christmas, and it cut off the circulation to her feet. So it's more of a keepsake than anything. And the next year, I crocheted her a jumper. The what's the name of it? I've got one that's got the Surrey.
The golden rod?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, and so I did one for her, and she washed it, and it completely stretched out. And my mum's a very small person, so it's huge. So I'm hoping tomorrow I'm giving her a Magnolia Chunky. So that will hopefully be the best one yet. It's like I've planned them all being a little bit homemade, and so this one will really stand out from the crowd.
I think I'm hoping very similar. The jumper I did for my sister, it had she loves Harry Potter, so I did her like a Weasley jumper with a big C. And I'd never really done colour work. I was only knitting for sort of 3 months at that point, so I'd never done colour work. So I decided to design and knit my sister a jumper with this C on, which if you know knitting, if you're trying to get the floats from one side to the other, I had no idea. I didn't think to do anything clever with the body, and I had no idea about intarsia or double knitting or any kind of method that might have helped. So it's very questionable.
Definitely on the inside, I'm guessing.
Yes. There's a lot of woven in ends.
Well, that's good.
Ish. I'm not very much a weaving in end person.
Who is?
Yeah.
Does anyone actually enjoy weaving ends? Because I definitely don't.
I feel really, really proud of myself when I weave in all the cast on and cast off ends, and then the rest don't matter.
Yeah, as long as it's inside the jumper.
They're not flailing around.
Well,
Tie them in knots and hope for the best.
I've had a few little tails every now and again.
Yeah. Every now and then I put on a jumper and a little end will pop out the sleeve and it's sort of like,
Oh, nothing happened. Nothing to see here.
You're planning on gifting a lot of things tomorrow.
Yeah, I actually need to do a tiny bit more knitting this evening because one of them's not quite finished. Might be up a little bit late, but that's fine.
You might catch Santa.
Maybe.
You might. You might get the mince pie and some sherry too.
I hope he brings me a winder, really. I'm really bored of winding from my knees by hand.
That was
That's
probably
what I
my
asked
favourite
for.
gift last year.
Yeah. Saves so much time.
The first thing I did was set it up. My family were like, "What are you doing? Like, this is definitely necessary considering you've all just bought me some yarn."
Yeah. My mum said, "Well, what would you like for Christmas?" Yarn Swift and a winder, please. She said, "A what?" It's like an umbrella and then a windy thing. One of those, that'll do.
Have you gone for the 80s style?
Yeah,
Amazing.
it's great. Yeah. The wooden ones are really nice. They're ridiculously expensive. So
They are beautiful.
they are really, yeah. Maybe one day I'll be able to afford a wooden.
Though I've got to say there's something quite joyful about the 80s. The grey
Yeah.
and red.
Yeah, it's quite good.
I didn't realise you had to wind yarn when I first bought hand-dyed yarn.
this was the same pair of socks as well that cut my mum's feet off. I just put there with a massive,
my mum's feet off.
just a massive pile of yarn that I hadn't wound, and it was all in a big knot. It's the most stressful pair of socks I've ever made. It's like, do a few stitches and then be like, okay, right, then get it all round here, undo this bit, do 2 more stitches. You know, the funniest thing is, I did exactly the same thing with a crochet pair of socks. Yeah, I'm not on my
I
own.
did the same thing. I bought some yarn. I think it was Coop Knits.
Oh,
And
socks,
that,
yeah.
and it's also not wound. I had no idea. So off I went, started, and like the first, I don't know, it went quite well for 5 or 10 rounds. And then, no, it did not. And it's still in a tangled mess with 3/4 finished crocheted sock.
Yeah.
I did the same.
Yeah.
Oh, with creative, is it Rowan Creative Linen? And it felt really uncreative, the process of trying to untangle it. I ended up cutting it into about 10. And I had recently knitted a project in it that's also gone a bit wrong. And all the ends to weave in, so I can't wait to rip that back, put it back into 10 different balls, and then reknit it again. Yeah,
Oh, wow.
I'm committed to this little top thing. but
Yeah.
that
I think perhaps it's a rite of passage.
Yeah.
Every new knitter has to experience. Please comment below if you have done this too and make us feel less alone.
So thank you very much for joining us this evening for our Christmas cast on. We hope you enjoyed casting on with us. We will leave you now to carry on with your Christmas Eve and your holiday season. We hope it treats you very kindly.
And it's filled with lots of yarn.
Yep. And I hope you got further in your cast-ons than I did.
May your stockings be hand knitted and filled with hand dyed yarn.
Yay! Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas!
This does look very funny. It does look very funny because you're just like, don't make eye contact. Okay, sorry. Okay, I'll look away too. Okay, 3, 2,
Is it actually filming?
1.
Yeah.
Anyone want to join in? You've got a broken neck.
Okay.
Okay, go.
I don't hit
Pause this.
I think it's good material.
They have.
This is why you used to knitting, right?
So I've just tried to fix it and then knit it again with. I'm having major issues over here.
We haven't even started the sherry yet. I just started randomly knitting through the back paper. So. I like to mix up my stitches.
That doesn't look like it's a round portrait.
Mine's come undone. Okay, so if we could just do everything that we've already done again, I'm ready to
Start again.
I'm ready.
So this is a pattern design.